And welcome back to KTN News Desk. I'm Michael Karanja. Now, for those discerning investors, it's always important just to cast a crystal ball and just look at perhaps what are some of the stocks that would be likely to give you high returns. And in studio today, I'm joined by Dede Nyoro, who's the Executive Director for Investec Capital, just to help us get a clear view of what we should expect in 2015. Dede, if you just to start, 2015, the first 2 weeks have been rather slow in terms of both volumes, share volumes, and also in terms of the money that is being generated at the NSE. Perhaps from where you see it as a broker, what's is this just the normal trends of January just starting off on a slow pace and picking up as the year goes along?
Thank you very much, Michael, for having me. I think the sluggish trade in the stock market, especially in turnover, is basically because of the misconceptions that there are, especially in terms of capital gains tax. Interacting with most of my clients, I noticed that we need to do a lot of education in terms of making the clients understand or investors understand that the capital gains tax you're talking about, the 5%, is not on turnover, but on gains. So the sluggish trade is usually because of, and mostly because of the capital gains tax.
Yeah, but just looking at that capital gains tax, because it's not yet clear. So is these people just waiting to see whether there will be clear directives coming from KRA on just how that will impact their investments and what they're able to win of gains from the capital markets?
I think most of the investors, even the elite, actually have not understood properly how they're going on, especially the calculations of the capital gains tax, because there are a lot of manual formulas to be involved. And there is no clear guideline, especially on the broker side, who should be collecting the tax on how they are going to prevent that. As of now, especially as is the players in the stock market, we are actually doing manual work, looking backwards in terms of how much the client paid in terms of buying the shares, the buying price, calculating what he made manually, actually attaching each and every form for every counter, especially when we are paying. So it's a lot of manual work. And of course, the systems that we use as the brokers has no provision for the collection of that tax.
Is that why perhaps there's been skepticism, especially since the first week of January, especially when it comes to who's going to collect this tax, how do you even calculate it into people's winnings?
Yeah, I agree with you, Michael. Especially there's been a back and forth between brokers and KRA, and I think each side is justified. The KRA needs tax, but the issue is how. And that's how there is a back and forth between the brokers. Because as of now, the systems we've been using as the brokers has not had any of that provision. And therefore, we have to resort to manual actually work that is too much, involving a lot of paperwork. Sometimes you are actually not sure whether you are accurate.
But you know, investors is never going to stop. So just looking at 2015, obviously slow start, but there are actually counters such as Safaricom and Barclays, which have been actually quite active. Just casting your crystal ball, perhaps, who are some of the likely to be key stocks to look at in 2015?
I think I want to start by saying that 2014, especially from 2013, has been very good years for investors. The stock market has been going up pretty well. But to be precise in terms of the stocks to watch, I think especially because of the news that came today regarding Centum and the go-ahead for the coal project. I think Centum will be one of the key stocks to watch. And of course, you'll be looking at Equity Bank because they have expansion strategies, which I'm sure will be some of them will be kicking off, especially this year. And of course, we'll be looking closely at the cement companies, the companies that are based in construction, because of the entry of Dangote, who will be entering our cement subsector this year. So we are about to see a lot of dynamics within those sectors and within those specific stocks. If
you just look at, I'm glad you mentioned Centum, just everything that they're doing from acquisitions during the year, likelihood of the coal power project coming online, and all the other kind of, just dealing and wheeling here and there. When you look at it, how attractive does a stock like Centum become?
I think to me, in the investment sector, I think Centum has a very good strategy, mostly because of the management of the company, and especially the strategy of not paying dividends. Because being an investment company, they've had a strategy for the past policy for the past 5 years not to pay dividends, and they have lengthened that period to the next 5 years, and they'll be getting back the money to areas that are growth sectors. And of course, within Centum again, we'll closely be looking at how the case of Ria Vipigo comes up, because they've bid to buy the company and the other bidders. And of course, we will be looking at if the company takes over the deal. And I'm sure that will affect the stock and the company positively.
All right. Let's look at tomorrow, Wednesday the 14th. We're looking at MPC's meeting tomorrow. And also we expect to get new fuel prices from tomorrow. Just looking at MPC, for almost a year and a half now, they've maintained the CBR at about 8.5%. Is that likely to continue, or are you seeing some action there in terms of just spurring lower interest rates?
I think the CBR, the CBK especially, has been more keen in terms of taping inflation more than anything else. And that's why they have maintained that basis level. So I hope maybe if they actually add some points, it will be actually marginal, because I think their main aim is to tame inflation, and in terms of also maintaining our currency at a good level of strength.
All right. Thank you very much. That has been De Nyoro, the Executive Director for Investec Capital, just shedding some light on just likely stocks that are going to be successful in 2015 for investors who might be wanting to put in their money there, and just how people are waiting to see how the effects of the capital gains tax are going to affect